The final part of this module is to look at how we can control the band content underneath the datum line and the content that's being drawn above. First of all, we're going to go to display controls, and if you're already on page 1, that's fine. We're going to pick page 1 from the list. And just before we start to look at the row options, we're going to just zoom in a little bit by clicking on the zoom button and just zooming in so we can see some of the content in here. This is going to just give us some context so that when we look at the editing of the content of the long section shortly, we can actually see what's already being drawn in context. Just simply pressing escape. We're going to click on Set Up Row Data. This is a list of everything that will be drawn on our long section. The reason why we've loaded in this particular style is because it contains some very typical and default output that you may want to see on your long section, such as cut and fill, and then the left edge and the right edge, or the left edge of bitumen and the right edge of bitumen from our design. But we're going to be changing one of those to show an alternative surface. We're going to, first of all, just select the heading controls option. You'll need to click on the pencil button down the bottom. This controls how the header is displayed. So at the moment, our text position, the frame length, which is only 25, so we may make that 40, the offset from the frame, which is around the edge, and then the gap. So we're simply going to click on OK now. We have to leave this form by applying and exiting and clicking on Update Display when it's available. For the time being, we're simply going to review these forms first of all. Underneath, we've got the title, which controls how the title is being displayed. The vertical text, if you click on the pencil icon, you can see this. This is showing you where we have an IP or a crest or a sag. You can see how that text is being presented to us. Click on Cancel. Where we have an in section, we don't have any at the moment, but where we do have an in section, there will be a piece of text that is displaying the following. So if you want to control the text, you'll see the line layer there. Those layers are all coming from the Set CSD Layers form. Click on Cancel. Everything at the top of the form is controlling what we'd call the annotation part of the long section. So this is all of the text that's going on to the top above the datum line, minus the vertical curve and the grades. The next part of the form is really controlling everything that's being drawn in the bands, and it's in the reverse order to what you can see. So we've got chain edges here. This is our chain edges band down the bottom, followed by the vertical grading profile of existing. There's existing, so you can see how they're ordered. We're going to simply have a look at the existing by selecting it from the list and then clicking on the pencil icon. So this is our sampled surface. So at the moment, what's going to be shown is the vertical grading from road 1, no vertical curve display, but importantly, what we're showing is the sampled surface content. We're not asking to show the design string, we're showing the sampled surface, which happens to be the pasted surface. If we wanted to show an alternative, we could simply go in and say, well, look, rather than showing the pasted surface, I'd like to show the original NS. And in a minute, what we're going to do is we're going to show the original NS for one of the other bands down the bottom. The heading controls, layers, etc. are all changeable. We're going to click on Cancel. Select the vertical grading profile design and click on the pencil icon. So the form is more or less identical. There is a significant difference though. We're asking it to show the vertical grading from road 1. We do want it to show the vertical curves and grades, and the elevations are from the design string, not from a sampled surface. Click OK. The cut and fill option, we'll go ahead and select that and click on the pencil icon. This will read the vertical grading between road 1 and the sampled surface. So if you want to change the sampled surface, you'll need to use resample sections, and the cut and the fill will be measured between road 1 and whatever sampled surface you've chosen. Click on Cancel. Lastly, we've got a couple of extra options showing some content in relation to the left edge of bitumen and the right edge of bitumen. So let's go and see how they've been added in. So very simply, again, same form. We're asking it to show the vertical grading from a code this time. So I want to see the elevations from the left edge of bitumen using the design string elevations, and the heading content is as follows down the bottom. And the same goes with the right edge of bitumen here. So we're going to click on the pencil icon, and you can see there we're showing the right edge of bitumen instead. So it's a very simple process. You're just cherry picking the options that you want for each band. What we're going to do is we're going to edit this particular option to show an alternative surface. So we're going to ask it to show the vertical grading of the NS at the centerline of road 1. So all we need to do is click vertical grading from code, and this time we're going to pick centerline from the very top of the list. Where we've got design string, that's simply going to provide us with the elevations of the centerline, which we've already got. That's under the design surface band. We're going to click on sampled surface. From the pull down, click NS. We're going to replace the heading with NS, and you could put whatever you want in there. The layer which is being drawn will only come from the list found in Set CSD Layers. We're going to make this existing centerline, and then we're going to click on OK. We're going to remove the left edge of bitumen. We don't want to see that, so we're going to click on the little delete icon. Loading in a style is really the best way to manage how you set up your long section initially. We've made a fair number of changes, so we're going to click on Apply and Exit. Update the display. So the left edge of bitumen has now gone. The red line has now been removed from the design. We're also now seeing the NS, which happens to be being drawn on the same layer as the existing surface, so they're both green. But you can see we've got this contrast between the two. If we were using a model builder surface, for example, our development base, we could see that instead. So you can see any other surface, be it Civil Site Design or Civil 3D, in your long section being displayed in contrast to the other surfaces that you're also presenting. I'm going to press Escape to stop zooming. Now, at this point, you've got a couple of options. You can either plot to layout, which will generate layout tabs down the bottom and split your design up into an assigned number of sheets. So at the moment, that will be 2 sheets. So we'll have 2 layout tabs. Or you can plot to file. When you plot to file, a folder called Profile will be generated for you in your data folder, from which you can then either choose to XREF or move those drawings as you wish. We're going to click on Plot to Layout. Now in the long section plotting form, on the alignment tab, there was a plan view width value, which we currently had set at 10. That is why this viewport is being drawn. If we do not want a viewport to be generated for us, then we can set that value to 0. One other final point about the long section plotting is the layer control. Whenever we go and set up our long sections, the layers that we are offered are coming from a single global location. To set that up, you can go to the Plan Production panel, click on the long section pull down, and then in there you'll see Edit Plot Layers. You don't have to be concerned about the cross-section legacy option. You can click on long section, and this project will open up the CSD layers list that we had for our long section just a second ago. So that controls everything that's in the data folder. When we select project defaults and click OK, anything we change in this form will affect any new projects going forward. So if we decide that these layers need to be entirely revised or added to down the bottom, we can do that. And every time we start our long section plotting on a brand new project, this list will be being read. Click OK.